Facebook and Zoom appear ready, so let's begin our service. If you wish to follow along with the service, you can scan the QR code on the screen or go to riverofgrass.org/2014, whatever that thing is called, OOS, to find the order of service there. What's that thing called? Forward slash. Yes, we're ready.
Waiting for my cue. When I am frightened, will you reassure me? When I'm uncertain, will you hold my hand? Will you be strong for me? Sing to me quietly. Will you share some of your stories with me? When I am angry, will you still embrace me? When I am thoughtless, will you understand? Will you believe in me? Stand by me willingly. Will you share some of your stories with me? When I am troubled, will you listen to me? When I am lonely, will you be my friend? Will you believe in me? Comfort me tenderly. Will you share some of your feelings with me? Will you share some of your feelings with me?
Welcome to the beloved community at River of Grass Unitarian Universalist Congregation, both here in person and love streamed on Zoom and Facebook Live. We celebrate all the ways we find to gather our beloved community in body and in spirit as we go and grow and flow the riverway. I'm Andy Perez, and my pronouns are she and her. Sometimes I would rather say I and me. You here in this room, we welcome you. You on Zoom or Facebook Live, we welcome you. However you made your way among us this morning, we welcome you. Let us pause together to gather into this time together as we connect again with one another, with the holy by any name and the light of love within us all. While we remain mindful that not everyone can breathe easy, nor find it easy to breathe, let us pause here in the headlong rush of our lives to breathe in our time together. Let's take 3 breaths. In this congregation, it is our mission to nurture our spirits, love intentionally, and create a just and healthy planet. In our enduring search for truth, meaning, and faith, what we share here is not an unchanging dogma, but an affirmation that we are called to be agents of love and justice and to build a world where everyone is cherished for who they are. This morning, we continue our monthly theme of awakening with this reading from the great wisdom teacher, Rabbi Nachum of Breslau, in this piece called The Power of Love. Teach me to search for the fine qualities in others, to recognize their immeasurable worth. Teach me to cultivate a love for all your children, for no one is without redeeming value. Let the good in me connect with the good in others, until all the world is transformed through the compelling power of love. This morning, our choir is going to sing with you. I know this rows were open, so please sing with us. The flaming chalice is a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist tradition, a beacon of religious liberty through generations, now ours to hold high. As we light our chalice together this morning, let us join our voices with these words. Awaken in me a sense of wonder, a hope for renewal, a faith based in love. Awaken in me the fire of commitment, the flame of truth, and the willingness to lead the way. Awaken in me an understanding that we are what we are, that we are perfect in our present form. Just awaken to all the possibilities my soul yearns for and the need to connect with you. In the light of love, let us renew our covenant as we say together, love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de esta congregación, y el servicio su ley principal. Esta es nuestra gran promesa, vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad a través del amor. And now, the deepening music.
Anything else
In our community each week, we share pieces of our lives. We take a moment to share our joys and sorrows and gratitudes. Here with people who love us for exactly who we are, where we are, right now. Here in the room, we will share from the book. If you're in Zoom and would like to share a thought, a prayer, a joy, or a concern with us in this moment, write it in the chat and we will lift them up together. And now in this quiet of this hour, if there is something on your own heart that you wish to mark without words this morning, you're invited to come forward and drop a stone of reflection in this water as we hold one another in sacred community. For as William James wrote, we are like islands in the sea, separate on the surface but connected in the deep. Let us share a moment of reflection, connecting all who are in need. We lift these things spoken and unspoken, written and unwritten, asking that our hearts be seen, even as we become seers of hearts, that we may serve one another and those beyond our walls with love and thankfulness today and every day. Amen, amen, amin, aho, ashe, namaste, blessed be, and so it is. And now we'll sing from all that will be the stars, the songs of open in your eyes, the trees that will on earth be sung, through heaven and by every tongue. Our heritage story for today. I want to say something before I begin reading what I wrote. Dorothea Dix is one of my heroes. When I was 18, I actually spent a lot of time at South Florida State Hospital at the time, working with patients that were there making crafts. And it was not the best place in the world, but before Dorothea Dix, people were being chained to walls and thrown food at. And so even though people were upset with her at the time, I'm like, you have to know the era that you're in and the steps that you're making, and what she did was actually revolutionary. So on to Dorothy Dix. This morning we mark our heritage in the life and work of Dorothea Dix and her work with the great Unitarian Reform movement of 1800s. Born on April 4th, 1802 in Hampton, Maine, Dorothea Lynn Dix grew up fast. She grew up in a household where her father was gone for weeks at a time as a traveling minister, and her mother struggled with her mental health. In order to survive, Dorothea completed daily chores from a very young age for her family. Although Dix's work was driven by deeply felt moral sensibilities, for a time she struggled to find an appropriate religious context. She attended her grandmother's congregational church in Boston, but found there as little spiritual satisfaction as she had earlier in the Methodism of her father. Doubting the many necessities of belief, she could not doubt the importance of salutary action to promote positive social and personal growth. By the early 1820s, Dix had found her religious home among the Unitarians. She appreciated the Unitarian emphasis on the goodness of God, purity of heart, openness to new knowledge, and responsibility for the good of all society. A close friend of William Ellery Channing, the famous pastor of the Federal Street Church in Boston, she served from time to time as governess for the Channing children and sometimes accompanied the family on vacations. She read many printed Unitarian sermons appreciatively and critically. In her early career as a teacher and author of children's books, she was in her unique and international role as an advocate for improvements in the treatment of patients suffering from mental and emotional disorders. The most visible humanitarian reformer of the 19th century. During the Civil War, she served as superintendent of United States Army nurses. Dorothea Dix drastically changed the medical field during her lifetime. She championed causes for both the mentally ill and indigenous populations. By doing this work, she openly challenged 19th century notions of reform and illness. Our hope lies in Dr. Rebecca Taussig. Here in our own time, we find our hope in the life and work of Dr. Rebecca Taussig. Taussig was born in the mid-1980s in Kansas, and she's a writer and teacher. She runs the Instagram platform @SittingPretty. Her PhD is in creative nonfiction and disability studies from the University of Kansas. And she writes personal essays that participate in the stories being told about disability. Dr. Taussig is the author of Sitting Pretty, The View from My Ordinary, Resilient, Disabled Body. And she wrote, Wild Emancipation for Us All. In her words, when I was small and just learning how to do life in my body, I didn't hesitate. Didn't hold back, didn't worry how it would look, didn't look for cues or ask for a line. My imagination ruled. I was entirely free to be, driven by the innovation my body inspired. This is the wild emancipation I wish for all of us. A world where we are free to be, to move, to exist in our bodies without shame. A world that isn't interested in making all of us humans operate in the exact same way. A world that would instead strive to invite more. include more, imagine more. That world sees the humans existed on the margins and say, you have what we want. What barriers can we remove so we can have you around us? What do you need? How can we make that happen? That is our hope. And now, our choir will sing The River. We sustain and strengthen this beloved community and its work in our world through the gifts of our time, our skills, our love, and our money. Each Sunday, half of our undesignated offerings go to LifeNet for Families, which provides meals, clothing, and support for those in need here in Broward County. The other half supports our mission and ministry at River of Grass. Ushers, please come forward to receive the offering. Scan the QR code or text number on the screen to donate. You can also find several ways to give on the donate page on our website at riverofgrassuu.org. Oh, and children's, if you would like to come sit on the floor, I have a story to read to you. Okay, this is called Maybe by Kobe Yamada. Have you ever wondered why you're here? You are the only you there ever has been or ever will be. You have so much to offer. Maybe you will invent something that no one has seen before. Maybe you will build things that reach high into the sky. Your life is yours. Try as many things as you can try. See as much as you can see. Wherever you go, take your hopes, pack your dreams, and never forget that it's on journeys that discoveries are made. Maybe you will help others to see the beauty in each day. Or maybe you will lift cheering crowds onto their feet. Do everything with love. Follow your heart and see where it leads you. Maybe you are here to shine a light into places that have been dark for far too long. Maybe you will speak up for those who can't speak for themselves. Maybe you are here to help in ways that only you can. There will be struggles, there will be fears, and it won't always be easy. At times it will feel really hard, and you might make a mess of things. You may fall down. You may even fail. But you will always get back up, and you will rise a little stronger and a little taller, because there really is more inside of you than you know. And this world needs your gifts, your ideas, your talent. What if you are only scratching the surface of what you can do and who you can be? What if you have talents you haven't discovered yet? There is something powerful, even magical inside you. You already have everything it does to do big things. Maybe you have no idea just how good you really can be. And maybe you don't know how much you matter. But maybe, just maybe, the world has been waiting centuries for someone exactly like you. And one thing is for sure, you are here. And because you are here, anything is possible. A flying pig.
Hi, my name is Jerry Mikulski, and today I'm going to talk briefly about why I pledged to River of Grass. I am currently serving as a trustee on the board and as chair of hospitality. I was raised Catholic, and when my first two children were 3 and 2, I started looking for an alternative religious community where I could raise them to be contributors. I was amazed and delighted by my very first UU service on the topic of Kali, the Destroyer, given by Reverend Kit Howell at the Fort Lauderdale UU Church, which ended with a question. I stayed. I was welcomed. My 4 children graduated from religious education classes. It wasn't always a smooth, continuous process. I went through a 9-year period where I rarely attended. But when life eased up and I was able to attend regularly, I was welcomed back. I took classes, mindfulness-based stress reduction, and building the world we dream of. Eventually, I felt able to make the commitment to join a covenant group. I cherish the deep, honest, and inspiring conversations we have every month. And our Zoom meetings were life-saving during COVID quarantine. Our Sunday services regularly bring me out of self-centered mode into gratefulness and thinking about what I can do today to build a better corner of Broward County. Singing in the choir has been a continuous thread of joy for me, and the musical talent shared by our minister and many talented members moves me deeply on a regular basis. And this is why I pledge to be part of this welcoming community that cares about raising the next generation of adults, that enriches my life with learning opportunities, music, and joy, that sustains and inspires and educates me in the fight for justice for all people and for the earth. This is why I pledge. Please pledge generously within your means.
My buddy Leanna is ill and she's on Zoom, but she and I are so thankful. I want you to look at this thermometer, which says we are at $179,000 and we are 80% to our goal. Let me hear it, Cecilia. Stamp your feet, everybody. Did you ever think we'd see that red ribbon rise? So this is the last week of our campaign, and I wanted to just tell you what these money means to us. The dollars that you pledge determine our budget for next year, which starts on July 1st. We've reached this 80% goal, but we have $46,000 left. And we have 1 week left of the campaign. So 45 pledging units, which means a family or an individual, have pledged this amount of money. But we also have 45 people who are members who have not. On Sunday, May 19th, that's our annual meeting where we vote in the budget based on this pledge campaign. Without enough funding, finance will present to the congregation what we can afford. Tough decisions happen at the annual meeting. I don't want you to be discouraged. We are the river. We figure it out. So even though it looks like we have a long way to go, and we have a lot of money that we don't have, we know how to do this. If you haven't made your pledge, please take a moment. Tell us what this congregation means to you, and if you have made your pledge, we thank you so very much. Go to our website, riverofgrassuu.org. Right on the home page is the pledge card. With a few clicks, you're done. It doesn't matter how much you give. We have donations from $50 to $25,000. Anywhere in between is perfect for you and for us. Pledge responsibly and know that everything you give makes us who we are. Thank you so much.
Shalom. My name is Andrew Meat. Thank you for being here today. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I thank the worship team for helping me. You rock. We usually awaken 365 times a year, but waking up is not always automatic. Our emotional and spiritual life has awakenings over a lifetime. But sometimes we need help to awaken our bodies and souls. Yes, a loud alarm clock is helpful. And yes, we have alarm clocks to awaken us to changes sought out, thrust upon us, or chosen. We have to pay attention to these alarm clocks, like the Hebrew word Shema, a deep, attentive, active listening, leading us to choose a path. I call these alarm clocks awakening points in our life. These points create our life story that cannot be measured by fixed time or length, nor predicted, nor cleanly organized. It's been said all religion is an autobiography of yourself or a group like River of Grass. Often the autobiography is filled with various awakening points leading to a path one chooses or drawn to or pushed into. These awakening points define, shape, and challenge us. Today, I share some key awakening points in my youth. Even though it's about me, it pertains to others too. At age 6, childhood friends taunted and beat me because I was vision and hearing impaired and had temporary lapses in reasoning. At this young age, my innocence was rudely taken away. I would never be like them and was painfully forced to grow up. I cried out to the divine, what is the purpose of being disabled? Thus, a lifelong wrestling with the divine in people began. I wrestled for my self-understanding and self-healing, with many awakenings to come. You may ask, did my parents help? No. They had no clue from cultural Judaism, and their rabbi offered me no insights to guide me. Instead, they gave me platitudes. Just deal with it. Ignore them. Suck it up. Which left me more frustrated and unconnected to Judaism. One way I dealt with the shattered sense of myself was creating art. At age 13, my father exiled me from my home to attend a private high school in Fort Lauderdale. I shared a room with 8 immature boys, and the taunting began again. Walking around campus, feeling alone, adrift, and confused, I questioned, why am I here at this school? One afternoon, a Messianic Jew visited me on campus. He was determined to convert me to Messianic Judaism, using the rapture and hell theology as manipulation. Out of fear and yearning for a sense of belonging, I converted. But at church services, I was introduced as a, quote, completed Jew, quote, meaning a Jew who converts to Christianity. One morning I awoke to understand they saw me as a trophy, not a valued person. I started asking many difficult religious questions, so a life study of religion began. At that time, I did not have a traditional bar mitzvah. Instead, in classic Reform Judaism, a confirmation. It was a meaningless ceremony to me. There has to be more to Judaism. I wanted more from Judaism to guide me. Creating art becomes my important coping mechanism. Next, at 14, I went to a high school in the Tucson Mountains. I awakened to a room with a privacy wall and shared with one friendly student who also respected me. At this time, I was devouring books about Judaism, but frustrated I could not find a synagogue to provide a ride to services. So I joined a nearby local Presbyterian youth group. The youth leader, Bob Edgar, a compassionate person, drove me to the meetings, and he encouraged me to share his Jewish insights during our studies. That gave me a sense of purpose I never had. At the school, I met Robin Murray O'Hare. She became my first love. We forged a deep relationship, and we discovered love mattered more than who was right. I awakened to understand religion was about relationships, not dogma or ritual or power and control. Sadly, she told me when she was age 8, someone threw a flaming brick into her bedroom, nearly killing her, because she was related to Madeleine Murray O'Hare, the famous atheist. I awakened that others, justified by hate and a sick understanding of religion, would harm her. As for art, an art teacher explained creating is not just a skill, but a way to live in defiance of my disabilities. In my early 20s, I went to Stetson University in DeLand. I worked through various majors, a frustrating ordeal. One day, a professor tried to convince me I was a natural in religious studies, but I was skeptical. A year later, sitting before a Yule log at 3 a.m., I embraced the unknown and chose this major. The religious studies department embraced me, and my hope was awakened to follow this major. I focused on early Christianity and Judaism and the prophets. The more I read, I intuited there must be a real respectful Jewish understanding of the Gospels, which the evangelicals seem to refuse to understand. It was then I began a lifelong study of Martin Buber, who explored relationships in faith. Sometimes I participated in other flavors of Christianity. One Sunday, with Father Pat Powers giving the host, I was standing in line to take the Eucharist at the Catholic Mass. While waiting, my understanding of the Eucharist changed, as I had a more Jewish understanding, and thus not matching those in the line. I needed to leave now. Now awakened to choose a different path. Near the end of 1984, I was reading a lot of Elie Wiesel. I started to yearn for an active Jewish community. His novel, The Oath, challenged me to my core. So, you want to be a Jew, find or even claim you are Jewish. Well, what are you going to do about it? Just saying you're Jewish or being born a Jew is not enough. What will you give? What will you do? I started pondering to have an adult bar mitzvah. On a napkin, I wrote a poem about my awakening to reclaim Judaism. The shofar has blown. To Wiesel for Musser from meat. Walking through silent flames of the night, I learned to hear the deafening day. Crawling through dark blaze of the word, I learned to see truth is an image. You offered me burning light. You burned into me insight. After I heard blaze of the new light, words either systematic or creed did die. After I saw flames of that old night, images either traditional or modern did die. You offered me words plight. You burned into me new sight. Look, the blazing flames of silence speak. I am a Jew. After graduation, I needed a long break. So I asked my father for a year off. Nope, you have to do something, he said. Remembering Wiesel's awakening challenge and yearning for a bar mitzvah, I replied, give me a bar mitzvah. He agreed. I prepared, moved in with my loving grandfather in Louisville, Kentucky, found a patient Hebrew teacher, found a rabbi who respected my disabilities and engaged my abilities. I picked the story of Jacob wrestling with an angel, since that reflected my life and a metaphor for any religious group. My sermon was to awaken others about being disabled in an ableist world. On April 27th, 40 years ago, I joyfully reclaimed Judaism, but I'm not limited to it. A year later, I was involved with Hillel, a Jewish fellowship group, taught Jewish civics at the temple, and mastered my Macintosh to create digital art. Many more awakening points yet to come, offering possibilities, but that's for another service. Looking back, several core awakenings reveal the path. From embracing my mortality, questioning questions, mature love, studying Judaism, reclaiming Judaism, and discovering I had a voice and a responsibility to use my abilities. What a long, curvy path, like a river of grass. Listen well to your awakenings. Do you offer choices to your path or to help others pass? Thank you.
Okay. We will now sing We Would Be One.
Understanding
Thank you. You can be seated. At River of Grass, we offer many ways to live our Unitarian Universalist faith in action. You'll find them in our weekly email, our Facebook page, and website, riverofgrassuu.org. Here are some upcoming opportunities to fulfill the mission and vision of the congregation and other announcements for the life of this beloved community. Today in our small group for kids, we're reminded that we're in the midst of the holy season for Muslims, Jews, and Christians alike. We'll talk about the awakening that occurs within Ramadan, Passover, and Easter, and what we as Unitarian Universalists can learn from them. The hospitality team needs some helpers. Get involved on Sunday morning by bringing treats, or bringing coffee, and help everyone feel welcome during hospitality. Speak to Dre Kelly, who is at the tech table this morning, or Jerry McCloskey, who's running and making the coffee. So please, we need the help. Thank you.
This for a second? Otherwise, I talk to you like this. Okay, y'all. We have for A9, our new unit over in the Park of Commerce off of State Road 84, same building those many of you remember, but 2/3 of the way to the west. We have a temporary certificate of occupancy. We have this temporary certificate of occupancy thanks to some very hard work by many people. Ken Bresnahan is not here this morning, but let me tell you, you only need 1 or 2 meetings with inspectors to realize what a stalwart spirit Ken Bresnahan is to deal with all of that. So Ken, we'll welcome you back in a minute. So here's what that means. Temporary means temporary. So we will be able to get it functional this week so that we can be in there a week from this morning. There are many things that will not be done because there are things that we want to do that did not go into the original plans, and so we cannot do them until all of the final inspections have occurred. There's a punch list of stuff that has to be done also on the builder's side before that permanent certificate of occupancy can be issued. So it will feel a bit like church in a box because we're going to move in over there. We're going to do it very much like we're doing it here. We won't have a screen up yet. We won't have our kitchen fully functional yet, but we will be able to be in there, and we will have room for kids to have a class. The office will be a work in progress. It's all going to be a work in progress for a while, but we will be able to occupy the space. Now, so the thing is we're going to move the stuff in like we move it in here, but guess what? We don't have to move it out. Will we ever take a space for granted again? No. And not only that, the possibilities for the things that we can do that we used to take for granted, have meetings, have gatherings spontaneously, have parties, have more classes, have more faith development, have more ways to be together. Oh my goodness, all those things that we have been accustomed to in our lives that are outside of Sunday morning, we can now find more ways to be together and more ways to serve one another. Gary, do you have who you need for this afternoon? Okay, Gary will be over there. Gary, Karen, and I will all be over there this afternoon wrangling some heavy stuff that has to happen. It is like a sliding puzzle. So this has to move, so this can move, so this can move, so this can move, so this can move. And that's what it's been like the whole time, but we're getting to the end of that. So I have here a blank page on my clipboard that is ready for names of folks who can come Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to do the all-hands push to get us in there on Sunday morning. So we'll be doing mornings, afternoons, and evenings. So we will have spots for people to do things. There are things that cannot be done till the end of the week, so that's why we put it Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Because there's many other things that have to be done to get us to that point. So I will be walking around with my my tape measure and my clipboard. I won't be measuring you. I have to measure some things in here to be sure that I understand how proportions work. So, big sigh. Whew. Old Davie Schoolhouse has been good to us. It's been good for us. As ready as we are to be in our new place, there's a little bit of a little heart pitter-pat, you know, that we won't be back in here again. Except maybe Christmas Eve, because it's bigger inside. Let us bless these walls that held us through all kinds of weather across the last 2 years. Let us bless these walls that echoed back our voices as we learned to sing again. Because COVID tried to take that from us. Let us bless these floors that received our thank you. Let us thank the library downstairs that holds our kids. Let us thank the beautiful chickie that we used for hospitality when we first got here. We were so hungry to be in the open air and to be together, and we made ways to do it. Let us thank Cecilia for bringing her stuff up an elevator. Let us bless the elevator. Let us bless our hospitality folks that had to go down a half story by stairs in order to make coffee for us, y'all. Let us bless the staff and the crew for the Old Davie Schoolhouse that have been so responsive in helping us make this work and setting things up the way we needed to do. One of the things we didn't have to do is move chairs and furniture. They did that for us, so it would be ready for us when we came in. And also were willing to work with us, not knowing with all of our uncertainty how this was going to go. Let us bless all of you who have kept this going. CIAB, Church in a Box, moving it in, setting it up, tearing it down, moving it out, taking it back to your garages, and doing it all again the next Sunday. Woo! We also want you to know that our having been here has been a blessing for others who use this property. The crew and staff of Old Davie Schoolhouse also thank us for who we are and how we have cared for their folks, how we have cared for their venue, how we have cared for this place. And so that relationship is reciprocal. Like we said, this is going to be an ongoing work of art that we're going to do in our new place. But we are going to sing ourselves into those walls again. And so it will be in very short order a place where we walk in and go, oh yeah, we remember who we are. Because our energy will linger in the space week to week to week. And it will be a space even more welcoming to those who are searching for some kind of community that sees them for who they are, can love them for who they're trying to become, and give them safe harbor and inspiration in a world that needs it so. Blessings on the Old Davie Schoolhouse. Blessings on all of you who have held us fast through this time of change. Blessing on the backs and the hearts and the hands and the trunks of cars and the garages that have made it possible for us to do this. Amen and amen, amen, aho, ashe, namaste, blessed be, and so it is. Got my clipboard. I got my pencil. I'm ready for some names. And it's some stuff that takes some work, and it's some stuff that's lighter work. Everything will help us. Everything will help us and put soul into a space that will be ours for some time to come. Are you ready to extinguish the chalice? Would you like to do this? Yes? I know you have words to say.
We all deserve a place at the table. We all deserve equal access. As you use, one of our core principles is the inherent worth and dignity of all human beings. Thus, in the spirit of our beliefs, there is an affinity group within the UUA dedicated to the rights and needs of members with special needs. Equal Access is the UU Affinity Group organization that promotes equality and access for Unitarian Universalists with disabilities. And as Dr. Rebecca Tasic states, we are all able within our own bodies. It's about being not limited by how others think we should be. Their mission is to raise awareness, the power of change, and provide resources to help Unitarian Universalist communities become barrier-free and inclusive. For more information, contact accessibility@uua.org. And now we extinguish our chalice. Did I do that? I did it. Man, I am so needing fire. I just, fire! Okay. Be brave, be kind, be just, be merciful, be hopeful, be welcoming of all who enter our shared space. This is how we keep the chalice flame burning until we are together again to light it anew. In these changing times, let us all be more vigilant to hold before us a vision of the world transformed and dare to transform ourselves to make it so. Until we meet again, shine on!